So we're going to start with a centering. So go ahead and get comfortable. And if you are off screen, that is okay. I do love seeing faces, and the research shows that you get more out of it when you are on screen. So I don't care if you're eating or if you're lying in your bed or if you're out walking the dog. I want you to get the most value out of this as you can. So if being on screen helps, help. If you're more comfortable being off screen, I still invite you to engage with us. So going into our centering, this is to help us move from just our ordinary awareness to, I got it, Karen, very, very good. Thanks for letting me know, to extraordinary awareness. So we can get out of our normal way of seeing things and be able to see greater possibilities for ourselves. So we're creating a sacred space for this workshop because it's not just about learning valuable information. It really is to create a space where we can activate, we can ignite, we can nourish, we can fertilize, we can energize the deeper potentials of who we are, right? Who we are and what this body temple of ours represents with our care, with our attention, with our presence. So allow yourself to go within. Allow yourself to close your eyes so you can focus on you. Put everything to one side. Bring your attention back to yourself, fully inside this body temple of yours. And bring your attention all the way down into your hips, down into your legs, down into your feet, through the soles of your feet, all the way down into the center of Earth, to the center of Mother Earth, where there's a nourishing, fertilizing, grounding, supportive, natural energy. Taking your attention off of all the stuff that you need to do, all the people that you love and care for, bring it back into yourself. And with each breath, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, allow yourself to be more deeply aware of the deep, kind, generous, loving woman that you are to others. That part of you that has deep, deep empathy, that can hold the highest possibility for those that she cares about. And so you begin today turning all of that loving kindness, all of that championing, that care towards you, your yearnings, your deepest desires, your needs, your desires. So take a nice, deep, 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 deep breath into that center of wisdom, love, presence, and kindness. And then exhale it all out. And as you exhale, expand your awareness out to the edges of the room. Step into awareness that all of life is organizing around your success, even though you can't see how. You may not know the answers of the how, but allow yourself to just take in this idea that, yes, the universe is supportive of me. And step into how you would breathe and how you would move and how you would participate if you absolutely knew in your heart that that was true. You are truly supported by something greater than you. So allow your awareness now to continue to expand 360 degrees out from you and feel a connection with me. Feel a connection with the other women who are here today. Feel a connection with all the people in your life that care and support you. Right? To all the people you have contributed to. So you're already connected, you're already fully supported to a field of resources, of love, of power, of champion, to this greatest possibility of who you are. So allow yourself to receive this, to take it in, to hold it for our webinar today, knowing that we are powerful creators of our own health and vitality. And as we shine, we enable many, many, many others in our lives to shine. And so to that, we say yes and thank you. And so it is, and so it shall be. And with that, you can open your eyes and come back into the room. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you all here. And we're going to get started in just a minute. And hopefully, Maria, you're able to hear us a little bit better. I see you kind of adjusting yourself to get more comfortable. And I'm going to put up the PowerPoint and start our training. And as I said, as I go through this, I will be stopping the PowerPoint and coming off so you can see me and I can see you, and we can engage in a conversation that's going to help generate greater awareness. So my intentions for you today are to expand your awareness about some things, get some new insights, new ways of looking into what might be going on with your health and vitality, to be able to take some action. We're going to take action during this 90 minutes together. And, you know, if we may go a little bit over, especially with the exercises, the interaction, I never really know. But try to stay to the end, because I do have some bonuses for you that actually the value of the bonuses is like over $1,000. I put together a bunch of them, like 4, and then I was like, wow, this is really generous. But that's what Spirit was directing me to do. So I'll reveal that at the end. And I'll also be sharing with you about a program and how I work. And I'll be sharing kind of that with that kind of throughout this. So you can take from that what you will. If you find that the program is for you, there'll be an opportunity for you to join us. If it's not for you, you're going to get so much value out of this workshop. And I'm basically going to tell you the steps. So you can do it on your own, or you can do it with us for kind of accelerated results. So I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint now. And give me a moment, because I always have to like get the technology together. Okay. And I have to move things around so I can see and get it set up for you. Okay, can you see page 1 now, the title page of this? Okay, yes, okay. Very good, very good. All right, so we did some housekeeping already, and we have some agreements. So I love to create spaces, like I love to create experiences. And some of my experiences are created in person, but a lot of them are done on Zoom, because I love training and educating people and interacting and learning from you as well. And so to make our environment very safe and very comfy and supportive for everybody, I have 3 commitments that I'm going to ask from you. And so I will read each one and kind of explain a little bit, and then I'm going to ask you if you agree, and then I want you to put up your hand. So if I can see your hand, you can put it up. If I can't, then you can use your electronic hand. And if you have any questions, you could just put it in the chat and I'll try to answer that. Sonia is my assistant here, so she may be asking you things in the chat. We're going to try to capture everybody's last name. So if there's somebody on who doesn't have a last name, Sonia, will you reach out to them in the chat and get their last name so we can know who's fully here? So first commitment is we are committed to ourselves to show up as our full, empowered, and supportive presence. So what this means is that we're going to be present while we're here. We invested this time and this energy into ourselves. And so we're going to be fully here. And you may have some other things going on, like Miss Barbara expressed a concern that she has about her relative. And So yeah, that is going on. But she's here, right? So she's already made a statement to herself that she's showing up fully empowered and supportive of herself. So, do I have everybody's commitment that no matter what's happening in our lives, because we all have busy, crazy lives, that for the next 90 minutes or so, we're going to show up fully empowered and supported? Raise your hand if you agree. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, very good. I'm seeing some hands. All right, the second one is to foster and maintain confidentiality. And this is kind of relative confidentiality because this is a Zoom call. It's being recorded. It will be shared with the people who have also registered because they're looking to up level their own health and vitality. But within the context of that, we are to be respectful. And, people may share some things that are personal, and you don't want to be sharing it out to the public. We kind of want to keep it within the circle of those who have registered for this workshop. And so, do I have your agreement to foster and maintain this relative confidentiality? Raise your hands. Ding, 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 ding. I see some hands clapping and I see heads nodding. Very good. And then the third one is to be engaged. So we talked about this already, but with radical generosity. And so that means being fully generous with your support of the other ladies on the call. And you can give them a high five if they say something or if they're sharing something and you want them to know that they're not alone. You can reach out to the chat and say, I hear you, sister. I feel that too. So it's just being very generous with yourself so you can get as much out of this as you can. And we all are learning from each other. I'm going to be learning as well. So, do we have agreement for radical generosity? Ding, 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 ding. Okay, beautiful, everyone. I love it. So, okay. So now we get to raise our hands again. And this is going to go to why you're here. And in fact, before we go on to this, I actually want to hear. So I'm going to stop the share for a moment, but I would love to hear from you guys. Like, what is it that brought you to this call? And yeah, just that question. What is it that brought you here? What is it that you're seeking to get out of it? You can answer either one of those. You can put it in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and speak. Do, 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 do.
I'll go first.
Okay, Ms. Kara.
Well, as I was saying earlier, I needed some positivity in my life.
Positivity, yes.
Um,
Mhm.
I've been
That's a big
feeling
one.
very down and out and like I ain't worth a shit. Job
Mhm.
search stuff.
Mhm. Yeah,
And I need to get back into life and
yeah,
feeling good, both
yeah,
physically and emotionally. And
yeah,
um,
yeah. I got that. And I love you. Thank you for being vulnerable enough to share that. That there's a lot going on, and you want the positivity. You want to feel worthy in your life. You want to get back into life. You want to care for your health. You want to feel good physically, emotionally.
and
Yeah, I get that.
self-acceptance.
And self-acceptance.
It's
Yeah.
awareness.
Yeah. Self-acceptance is key. So thank you for sharing that and going first, Kara. Wow, who else? And Maria's here because she wants to stop focusing on the negative most of the time and to maximize her potential. Beautiful. Anybody else want to share?
Yeah, I'll share.
Okay, Conchana. Hi.
Zana, I love the conversation that you started around agelessness and this idea of living in that space. And I feel like we're, often told this is what to expect. And you get to these perimenopausal years and it's all downhill from here, right? There's all this doomsday language around aging, especially
Yes,
for women, right?
yes,
And I love the idea that we don't need to buy into that.
yes.
There are ways that we can step into fullness of life and vitality. And so I'm
Yes.
excited to learn more about that.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Yes, that's a very important concept, the agelessness. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to show you a picture of my mom, and she's 92, and she, to me, is what represents ageless. You know, she was out painting like deck furniture today. So he's doing a lot. So thank you for sharing that. I love that. I love that. And let's get maybe one more person. Who else would like to share? Like, what brought you here today?
I'll share. So what brought
Okay,
me here
Sandra.
today was seeing your lovely, beautiful energy on your
Oh,
invitation, and I've seen you,
yeah.
Xonna, I know you. And when I saw you, I was like, oh, there's Xonna. I want to go see her. I want to see what she's doing. I want to really be a part of whatever she's doing. So I got really excited just because I know
Oh,
you.
yeah.
And then once I read what you were bringing, I was like, oh, I want to know more about this. I really do want to know about this because I am at that stage in my life where there's some things that work and some things that don't. And I really want to find what is my blueprint, not everybody else's whatever that is, but
Yes.
what's going to work
Yeah.
specifically for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here. I want
Yeah.
to know.
Wow. Thank you, Sandra, for sharing that. And I'm so glad that my marketing is working. As an entrepreneur, you just never know what's happening out there in the world. And thank you for sharing that, yeah, that you are at that age where, you know, some things are working better than others, and you really want to like extend your health and vitality and find what the blueprint is that's specific to you. And that's the key way that I work, whether it's one-to-one or in group programs. It's always about finding what works for that particular person, right? And especially in group programs because there's no cookie cutter for anything or anybody. So I love that. So thank you. So I'm going to pull the share back up. I gotta make sure I get the right PowerPoint. All right. So can you see the PowerPoint now? So yeah, so very good. So raise your hand if yeah, I think we're probably all going to be kind of in here. You are tired of the stuff that's showing up in your body, right? Maybe it's the weight, maybe it's the hormones, maybe it's like the little health stuff that's happening that's making you feel like you're losing something that you used to have. And you know, you want to feel youthful again. You don't want to feel like old and aging, right? No matter whether you're 40 or whether you're 94, like Miss Barbara. And also, you're ready to give up beating yourself up, right? So that's a key part. We want to have a different self concept. And that's a big part of healing, is what we believe about ourselves. And related to that is we're ready to stop like sacrificing ourselves and stop putting ourselves outside the ring of our circle of love. And we're ready to prioritize yourself, right? So this is for you. And maybe some of these you feel stronger about than others. And Maria, I see your hand up. Is that just left over from before? Or do you have a question?
No, I'm agreeing with everything I see on the screen.
Okay, I love it. The hand up there, the agreement. So this is my vision. Like imagine a world where we women are pouring from a cup that's overflowing from self-care, self-love, self-trust. Kara mentioned self-acceptance. That's part of the self-love, right? And we're feeling healthy and we're happy and we're making our true impact in this world. And impact is not just like impact with our career and what we do to make money, but it's impact on our families, right? Impact on our churches and our communities and our circle of love. And so ultimately, this is about creating what's possible. This is my life now. This is the life that I've been creating. And I love dancing. I love doing Argentine tango dance. And I've done it in several countries now. And I love being down the water. I'm actually right now at this location where the water is, and it's like 5 minutes from my house. And my two dogs, we were down at the beach. In fact, if you saw Facebook this morning, you saw a little glimpse of the water because I did my sun salutations on the dock by the water and my meditation. And then I asked God for a sign that today was going to be a phenomenal day. And all of a sudden I open my eyes and there's these two ducks like right in front of the dock, and they're like, whack, 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 whack. I was like, okay, it's find a good life. And food is medicine is key part of what I do. All my programs are based on food is medicine. And this last picture is just me being free. Like to me, that is vitality. My heart can be open and I can be out there flowing with life no matter what comes up. And this is my mom, right? So this is her at 92. This was just taken right a
Wow.
few weeks ago or so. I took her out to brunch with two of her friends. And so it was like three vital women all over the age of like 80. And this is a peach. And this is my other motivation for what I'm doing. So the Dalai Lama has said that if this world had more women leaders, it would be more peaceful and compassionate, right? And I believe that, but I say how much more peaceful and compassionate could it be if we women were healthy and happy, if we're leading from a place of vitality with cups that are overflowing with what we have to give. And, these days more than ever, we women need to be like the light. We need to be the graceful light for our families, right? So we need our health for even more purposes than normal. So our intention, what we're going to cover specifically today is we are going to look at, why the conventional approaches to our health and vitality don't work so frequently. Sometimes they do, but frequently they don't. And what is the actual root cause of much of what's going on with you? And then I'm going to share it's called my vitality reset pathway. And it's a 3-part pathway to get you to revitalized health. So I'll be sharing part of it today. I'll be sharing, there's a part 2 to it, and there's actually a part 3 too. So we're going to get started with all of that. And we're going to start by talking about the paradox of success. So a lot of who I am working with are women who have been like me. Women who, from young age were told by their parents that, we have opportunities that they did not have. And we were expected to achieve and take advantage of those opportunities. And we're expected to attain what is this definition of American success. And so for many of us, we have achieved a lot. We've achieved a lot more than our parents. And so we do have careers that, even if not by our own standards, by many people's standards, they are impressive. And we have a level of financial stability. Maybe we're not where we want to be. Maybe we have things going on with our life now and our money income might be down some. But relative to what's going on in the world, we have financial stability and we all have our circle of support from friends and relationships. But in the midst of all of this success that we have, we do find ourselves with declining energy and hormones. And most people don't know, but we actually have 50 hormones in our body, right? So there's some chaos that's happening on that level. And then things happen to our weight. And if it's not our weight, it's kind of our tone Like we start to lose muscle tone, we start to lose muscle mass, we start to lose bone density. Like all of these things start happening, and there's a fear of going to the doctor often because so many women that come to me, they just don't like getting the increasing diagnosis. And that was me. So I'm going to come off of this for just a little bit. And but that was me. From the age of 12, I was kind of pushed. And I was pushed by my parents to, get into a really good junior high. It was a private school, junior high. And then that was a feeder school into an elite prep school for high school. And the expectation was I was going to go there, which I did. And then it was to get into Harvard. And then it was to get into Penn's Law School. And then it was to be a lawyer. And I did all of that, and I did it the way that it was expected of me. And then once I became a lawyer, I started to notice that even though I was young, like even before I was 40, I started noticing these increasing things showing up when I would go to the doctors. And at first it was the hypertension. I think that was the first thing that showed up. And I had asked the doctor like how long I was going to be on the medication, and she was like, oh, you'll probably have to be on there for your life, right? And I was like, oh no. And then the next thing I noticed was pre-diabetes, and I was like, how in the world do I have that? I eat healthy, right? Because I didn't realize all of the things that can contribute to your blood sugar going off besides how you eat. But it really hit me when I found myself at an oncologist's office. And I think I was in his office for about 15 minutes. And for 10 minutes of it, he was just spewing the word cancer, 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 cancer. And I actually counted it, and it was like 25 times. And I was like, I haven't even had a biopsy yet. And he's just spewing this word cancer like it's a normal thing. Like he's talking about have some hot chocolate, right? And when I left there, I was scared, I was shaken, and I was appalled at like this environment. But I also was frightened because, I started thinking about my family, and I had a brother who was on the same path of success like me, and he had actually died 6 years before that from a heart attack at the age of 42. Right? He died at a heart attack. And it was a reminder to me that for us women, like heart disease is the number one killer. And I was like, wow, we've got that. I've got 2 risk factors for it. And now I'm sitting in this oncologist's office. And it was a wake-up call for me. And I was young. I thought I was healthy and had vitality, but all of this stuff was coming up. And so it started a long journey, like 10 to 15 years of first I tried my health, and I actually quit my job. I went back to school. I pursued 3 different master's degrees in the health field. I implemented all of those things that I was learning to focus on my health, but my conditions got better, but they didn't go away. And then I became like strong in my spirituality, because I was like, okay, well, God can heal this. So I need to get closer to God. So I started doing all of the things, and I started learning about metaphysics and like, how do we apply this into our life? And my conditions got better, but they didn't go away. So then I started learning about the power of the mind and the power of the subconscious mind, and how our thoughts and our emotions create kind of our reality, right? They create our personality, and our personality creates our personal reality. And I started implementing that, and I started to get more results. But the results came from this integrated approach because I was already doing the diet piece of it and the lifestyle piece of it and the spiritual piece of it. And then I added the mindset piece of it. And together it started to work, right? So I learned about the power of holistic approaches. And I'm going to pull this presentation back up here. Give me a moment. And so with this paradox of success, like I just shared like the three like health challenges that were going on, but there are a whole lot of others that were signs that I should have picked up on. And so I want to ask you guys to take a look at this and then raise your hand or put it in the chat. You know, how many of you have some of these things that are showing up here? Like energy crashes, like especially in the day. Like I've had clients who, like when they get home from work at night at like 5 o'clock or so, they go on the couch and that's where they stay, right? Like the mood swings. Like I had two people yesterday tell me how angry they're feeling. Like there's an inner anger, and it's not just from stuff that's going on in our country, but it's just like a way of being now, anger. So mood swings. Hormonal imbalances in whatever form it is, perimenopause, menopause. I mentioned that there's 50 hormones in our body. Most of us just think about the 3 reproductive hormones, right? So we're going to talk about this a little bit today. Like the stress eating, the weight gain, brain fog, belly fat, aches and pains. How many of you have 2 or more of these things that have started to show up? Yeah, you can just put it in the chat or raise your hand. But yeah. So these are the exact, this is what I was seeing from women over and over and over, you know, in the like 2013. So we're like 10 years now that I've been practicing as a licensed dietitian, nutritionist, and now as a women-centered health coach, to focus on these unique challenges, mind, body, and soul, that are limiting us women from being able to step into our potential in our bodies and in our lives. And so I've developed a methodology. It's called the Release, Revitalize, Renew methodology. And I'll be sharing some of that as we've gone along, but it's to address a lot of these symptoms. And if you don't have these symptoms, you may say, well, I'm pretty healthy, I'm pretty vital, I don't have anything going on, but I want more vitality. That's what Revitalize and Renew is all about. Right? So I talked about heart disease, and the reason that list is so important to me is every single one of those things is kind of a risk factor for heart disease. And we women, we don't like to hear like heart or anything that is scary about our heart. But I find that heart disease is #1 killer, not just because we have these physical symptoms, but for women, we're often heartbroken. Like we've stuffed our dreams inside. We're working so hard and we're taking so much care of everybody else that what is important to us, what helps us to thrive, what helps us feel vital, has been tucked away. Right? And maybe every so often we get to that. So this is something like it's broken physically, but also mentally, emotionally. And so this is a big driver for what I do. So with the conditions that you've had, how many of you have tried like a number of different approaches? And I would like to hear like what some of those approaches are. So I'm going to stop the share for just a minute. What are some of the things that you guys have been trying to take care of yourself?
Exercise.
Yeah, exercise. Very good.
I've been yoga.
And yoga.
10 years.
This is the 94-year-old talking, ladies.
I also have been, I took some Pilates.
And some Pilates.
Wow.
I hate running, so I'm looking for everything you can do.
Well, you don't have to run. You can do these things inside, and you can do a lot of strength building with the Pilates.
And I also have done the weights, but I'm the personal trainer.
Yeah, and you have a personal trainer. How about that? You are a great inspiration.
Well,
I think I'm gonna let you teach this
he
course.
left me with, I have arthritis in my knees,
Uh-huh.
and my spine is curved, but
Uh-huh.
all these
Yeah,
things help to
they
build my
do
core.
help. Yeah, they do help to build that strength for your spine, for your
Yeah,
back, for your core, to take pressure off your knees.
and
Yeah.
took out most of the red meat.
Very good. And taking out red meat. Very good. Thank you, Miss Barbara. Thank you for sharing that. And I see Kara's been limiting her eating to between 11 and 7. She's been walking more. I see Maria has some challenges with the energy, the mood swings, and the weight gain, and sleep problems, and belly stuff going on. Yeah, the belly fat. Yeah, like how many of us have some belly fat that we'd like to get rid of? Ooh, yeah, yeah, I'm sure. I'm
I
sure
don't, I
many.
don't think I'm 100%
I see
away.
Maynard raising her thumb.
I'm down to, I have weighed as much as 160, and as
Uh-huh.
I got older, I'm weighing in the 130s.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So you've gotten your weight down as you've gotten older. I love that. I love that. So yeah, so we've all tried many different approaches, and some work and some, don't work. And the challenge with many of them, whatever they are, is sometimes they focus on symptoms. They don't really get to the root cause. Like how many times has a doctor ever told you the root cause of this is this? Never. They just tell you the lab result says this, and here's your prescription, and maybe we should schedule you for some surgery. And with that approach is often a one size fits all solution. Like we talked about, we want something that's a blueprint for us, not the one size. And they treat like conventional, especially in the medical field, like when you go to the doctors, they don't see you as a whole person. They don't even interact with other doctors that you may be seeing. It's like your pharmacist is the only one that knows everything that's going on with you because they have all the prescriptions, but they see you as an isolated system. And the biggest one that I see with women is they really miss how women are made up. Like the mind body connection for women is critical. We are intuitive, relational, connecting beings, and our physiology and our spirits both operate in that integrated, holistic manner. And systems that don't look at what's happening with us, especially our physical being, like that, they're missing a lot. They leave a lot on the table. And the biggest thing is that doctors often are dismissing concerns as just aging. Like there was a study, and like 70% of women reported that some doctor at some point had just told them, "Oh, you're just getting a little older. That's all it is. It's just a little ache or pain." Has anyone ever heard that from a doctor or even felt that in your own mind? Yeah. You could
Zana,
raise your
Kara
hand,
had a
shake your head.
great point. She said she has felt like a guinea pig with her doctor at times.
Wow,
Oh,
like a guinea pig. Yeah, yeah. Like they're just experimenting, right? Not trying to figure out what is causing all of these symptoms, right?
That's why they call it practicing medicine.
Yeah, practice in medicine. And I will say, there is value. I don't denigrate the traditional medical system because sometimes when you really need it, it's good for those emergency things. But for most of what we struggle with, like that whole list of conditions and the things that you guys have put in the chat, it's been determined that those are generally lifestyle conditions. Like 80% of chronic diseases, disorders, imbalances are coming from lifestyle, which is good news because that means there's a lot that we can do about it. So this is a paradigm shift about the symptoms that are showing up in our body. And the thing is, we know this, like how many of us know this, right? But let me ask you this. How many of you really know it? Like, do you ever find yourself saying, "Oh, I'm just getting old"? Right? Like we know it, but we still say those things to ourselves, right?
A chiropractor won't let me believe that. He's the only one that sees me as a whole being.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's the kind of healthcare that we should all be subject to. So the truth is, and we know this, the age is not our destiny. Chronological age is not equal biological age. There can be a 25-year difference between the age, our chronological age, and what our bodies are reading as, right? So, with changes that you make with a holistic approach, that's not just working on the physical body, but it's also working on your spirit. It's also working on your mindset, your sense of self and identity. Yeah, that's what a true lifestyle practice is. And that's when you can start getting these big differences between your biological. That's when you can be 94 years old, but like Miss Barbara, she probably has biological age that's 20, 30, maybe even 40 years younger than her age, her chronological age, right? So the science is really, there's a lot of science now that's about how do we reduce your biological age. And that's pretty much what I aligned with, so that our symptoms are not like inevitable, right? So when we look at this science of how do we age gracefully, how do we produce what I call agelessness and not the decline, there are 5 key variables there. One is epigenetics, and this is kind of a big area that I studied when I went back to school as a nutritionist and as an herbalist. I was looking at the gene expression and how do we modify that, right? Just because you have genes for diabetes or heart disease or cancer in your family, it doesn't mean that those genes have to be turned on and they express as disease. They can be turned on to express as health, and that can be modified. And so there's a lot of research about epigenetics now, and they actually believe that, let me kind of see here, up to 95% of gene expression can be modified through lifestyle factors, with diet, stress management, sleep quality being the primary influencers, right? Telomere length. This is when they're actually looking kind of at the DNA and they're looking at the length, how short the little tail at the end of it is, which is a sign of how fast you are aging. So there've been clinically double-blind studies that are now showing that that again is heavily influenced by lifestyle factors. Inflammation, we're going to talk about inflammation quite a bit here. And yes, that is a key sign of aging. And so when you go to the doctors, doctors don't even measure your inflammatory markers unless you specifically ask for that, or if they're looking for some kind of disease, a specific type of disease, often heart disease, then they might look at the inflammation markers. And hormonal shifts. So I mentioned that we have 450 hormones, and they're all communicators. They are chemical messengers. Hormones all interrelate to each other and communicate with each other. So if one is off, all of them tend to be off, right? And when you have 50, you can see how that's going to affect your health. And then stress. So these are all key areas that when we're talking about how do we achieve health and vitality, these are metrics that we want to start looking at. So this is Sonia, and Sonia did my Release, Revitalize, and Renew program. And before that, she was suffering. You know, she was one who was like on the couch or seeking like her third cup of coffee by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And because she was feeling more lethargic, she did gain weight, extra 25 pounds in her case. And she was also feeling like she wasn't able to function as effectively at work because of brain fog. And she was questioning her memory. And did she have early like dementia and Alzheimer's? And nope, but a lot of it had to do with the sleep and the fact that she then tried to compromise and compensate and rely on the sugar and caffeine. So she did the 12-week program, and in just 12 weeks, not only did she have great energy and she lost a large number of pounds, and she boosted her brain function and cognitive abilities and was sleeping better. But her lab metrics were so good that the Mayo Clinic, where she went every year to get, like, I don't know if she went every year in her life, but she and her husband had started going there in the couple of years before she came to me. And they did comprehensive labs, like of everything. And they were like, what have you been doing? Your labs have never been this good, right? And she did that in 12 weeks. So we're going to talk about that program and what it was that she did. So what is the root cause of all of this stuff that's going on? My conclusion, and not just mine, because I just came back from a 3-day conference, which was verifying this, where they've done a lot of science, is this stress cycle. And for women, I call it the stress to success cycle, because it's that cycle that we've all been on. Just normal, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just the cycle that we've all been on to try to strive, to try to be more than our parents, to try to have the things that they couldn't have, to try to be able to give things to our kids that we didn't have. And it's the stress to success cycle because it's never ending. It's like you get on it, you have a goal, you're reaching for that goal, you're pushing for that goal, you're staying up late, you're working hard, you're sacrificing your health, and then you hit the pinnacle, you get that success, you get that goal, and you're happy for like a brief moment. And then it's like, okay, what's the next thing? Oh, okay, now we have to move to the next neighborhood. Oh, that means I need a new job. So we're on this cycle and we just keep going and we keep going and we keep going. And, all the data, you don't need me to tell you that stress is a key factor for us in this country. But what you do need, and this is part of the expanded awareness, is to understand the impact on us. And your nervous system, we actually have, first of all, let me ask you, how many nervous systems do you think we have in our body? Put a number in the chat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is. Let's see what comes up. So we have 10. We have 2. Okay. Anything else, you guys? How many nervous thinking? 1. Yeah. Any other guesses? So you actually have 4, right? So we have 4 nervous systems in our body. And, you have your sympathetic nervous system, you have your parasympathetic, that's the fight, flight, or freeze. You have parasympathetic nervous system. We call that like rest and digest. We have an enteric nervous system that has to do with your gut, right? Gut-brain connection. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And we have a nervous system that runs from the hypothalamus in the brain to the pituitary gland here, down to like your thyroid and your adrenals. So we've got like 4 main nervous systems that get impacted when we have stress. And oops, let me move this chat out the way so I can see. So when we have this going on, I want to take us back to this slide and move this chat box so I can see. For us, I call it disrupting our feminine power, right? So we've all been raised in this paradigm of success that I've mentioned, and that it started from the 50s, and it was it was a male system. It was a male system. It was a design for the industrialized age. It's very good for achieving things. And we've stepped into that. But because we have a whole cascade of hormones in our body, the stress from that type of a system impacts us women differently than it impacts men. And so when we're stressed and then we're trying to not just succeed in the workplace, but then we're trying to succeed at home, right? There's a high expectation on us women to be successful in everything that we do. So we got chronic stress at the workplace and we have chronic stress at home. And that is impacting all of those 50 hormones in the body. Those hormones, like whether they're the reproductive hormones or the stress hormones or the hunger hormones or the hormones that feed your brain, your happiness hormones, or give you a sense of reward, when those go out of balance, they cause inflammation in the body. Cortisol, which you guys have probably heard of, the stress hormone, was designed to reduce inflammation. But when it's chronically doing that, it causes more inflammation. And that's going to lead to the aging. That's what's going to lead. I do a whole workshop on inflammation, so I'll save a lot of that for that. But in essence, it dysregulates our whole nervous system. And when that happens, it dysregulates our emotions, how we feel about things. And those hormones and emotions are chemicals. And then they affect how we think about things, right? So now we are thinking in a dysregulated manner, we're feeling in a dysregulated manner. And of course, that's going to lead us to stress eat because we're looking for comfort, right? And we think it's our fault. We think it's willpower. We could just, let me just stop eating after 8 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, we're in the refrigerator with our head stuck in there looking for the ice cream and stuff, right? Or when the family goes to bed, then it's like, okay, now is my time to relax and get something. So this is creating dysregulation in many systems. One is a blood sugar system. So which of these lines do you think is the normal line? Red or green? You can just speak it out.
The green.
Yeah, the green is the, which of us, where are we most days? The green, nice, soft, gentle, flowing hills, the mountains, peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys. And the thing about blood sugar is you have blood sugar imbalances, even if it's not showing up on your hemoglobin A1C or your blood sugar glucose test. A lot of times at the doctors, they only do the blood sugar glucose test, the fasting test. That tells you a point of time. When they think you're at risk or they know you're at risk, then they'll do a second test, hemoglobin A1C. And that will tell you kind of over a longer time frame what's happening in your blood sugar. We think it's from food, but most of your blood sugar dysregulation is coming from stress. It's cortisol. Cortisol will cause your blood sugar to go up because your body is trying to produce energy so that you can fight or you can flee or you can like freeze. It takes the all the functions out of your organs and puts it in your limbs and in your brain so you can get away from that stressor. So that worked back in the days when we were being chased by saber-toothed tigers. It doesn't work when now it's our husband that's causing the stressor, or it's our child, or it's we have to care for our aging moms. And, we're all under these stressors now, and it stays regulated. So the first step, and this is why in my methodology, my Release, Revitalize, Renew methodology, the first step is to release. And what are we releasing? It has to be a holistic release. So yes, we are working on what do we need to release to stop the physiological stress patterns in our bodies. So some of it is going to be stress management to calm the nervous system down. Some of it's going to be the foods that are causing stress in our body and other patterns in our lifestyle that cause physiological stress in the body. So we're looking to release the inflammation and the triggers to the inflammation. We also are looking at our mindset, right? How can we release those limited beliefs that we all have about ourselves? We've already mentioned some of them: worthiness, right? Acceptance of ourselves. I'm all alone. I have to do everything all alone, right? I'm not, I don't feel connected. I feel like I'm not enough. Can't do enough, right? How many of you, raise your hand if you have some of those things going on in your head that, you don't really want to talk about out loud, but we have them, right? So the first step is that, and a big piece of what I built into the program is releasing energetic blocks. Because when we have these thoughts, they send out chemicals to the body, up and down the spine, the nervous system, that creates an impression in the body. That impression is an emotion. Emotions are held in the body. So we cannot just work on our thoughts, but we got to get it out of the body. And so doing various practices, somatic practices, it's a whole science of somatics, which is how do we release those energetic blocks that cause stuckness in our emotions and then cause stuckness in our thoughts and then cause stuckness in our physical health and well-being, right? So we're releasing all of that. And we also release our things in our environment, what no longer serves us in our environment, right? So we do some feng shui to kind of cleanse, starting in the kitchen, and then we do it in the rest of our environment. So we're getting a real release on a multiple integrated holistic way that then can help to free up our health and our vitality. So we now see like kind of what this myth has been about what's the cause of our aging and what's the cause of what's going on in our body. But now let's look at what are some of the mistakes that we make. And it's not just successful women, it really is all of us, including myself. I've been in the same boat, which is why I put together this presentation. First one is this masculine approach to everything, and I say to health, because of this masculine approach to success, where we have to push and we have to do things. Like I remember when I was working, and this was as a lawyer, and one day I worked till 2 a.m. at the office and had to be back there at 7 a.m. That's crazy, right? So what was I doing to do that? I was powering through fatigue. I was ignoring my body's signals. I needed to rest, but I had to push harder. I had to be productive, so I would prioritize that over my recovery. And what was I doing to my nervous system? My 4 nervous systems, putting all of it in fight or flight mode. And we all do that. How many of you have found yourself doing one or more of these? Raise your hand. Yeah, I think like everybody's hand is going up for that one. Yeah. And so the impact of that is kind of what I mentioned before. I talked about the blood sugar roller coaster, but there's another part, this gut-brain connection, and we don't really think about this. Like so many women come to see me with some form of digestive issues, like almost nobody has normal digestion. And a lot of it is because your nervous system is functioning through this big, big nerve that runs from the brain all the way down into the gut. It's called the vagal nerve. and it communicates hormones and transmitter and neurotransmitters up and down and out to every organ, every cell in the body. It's like the communication highway. And when we're under stress, this is what is most active. It's going up and down all day, like releasing stress hormones from the brain, from the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, down to the thyroid, down to the adrenal, down into the immune system of your gut, because your immune system is what's helping you with that fight, flight, or freeze, right? It's like, I've got to like protect the body. And so it gets hyperactive. And not only do you end up with like autoimmune conditions, and if you have one autoimmune condition, you're at risk of another because it's your immune system just being dysregulated. So it's not just that, but it's also causing like the immune reactions where our resistance is low and making us susceptible to different diseases, right? So we got the gut-brain connection that gets off of balance from this. And then we have everything else, including increased fat storage, right? When cortisol is high, your body has to secrete insulin to get that sugar out of the blood. Your body cannot function with the blood sugar very elevated. It does almost everything it can do to keep your blood sugar in a normal range, and it pumps insulin like crazy to help you do that. Insulin has so many impacts because it not only is like an inflammatory hormone, but it's also going to tell your body to take that sugar and store it someplace. It's like, put it in the closet, get it out the blood, put it in the closet. And that closet happens to be your fat cells. And the reason when you get belly fat, the belly fat is a sign of stress because it's your body putting the energy, right? It takes glucose as energy. That's what your body needs to make energy. It's putting it close to the liver so that the liver can access it to start the whole series of transactions to put you in fight or flight, right? So that's why we get the belly fat. It's a sign of stress out of balance and the hormones being out of balance. That's the cortisol connection. That's what I just went through. So that's the first mistake that we make. And then the second mistake is, I kind of talked about this, is that we treat like isolated things. So we tend to treat symptoms instead of looking at the whole system. We are a system, right? And I was guilty of this. Sometimes I'm still guilty of it. And it doesn't really matter like how focused you are on health and vitality. We never stay at an optimum level. We kind of go down and we come back and we titrate this and this. This is how transformation happens, up, down, up, down, up, down. But each time you don't go as low. So isolated approaches is, okay, let me just get on another diet, or I'm going to get off this call and I'm going to start exercising more, right? How many of you have these thoughts going through my head? Oh, I need to get my cortisol down. Maybe there's a supplement I can take. Get my cortisol down. There's one called Cortisol Manager. I'm going to order that, right? Or, okay, maybe I'll just go take some medication. Some people like to do that, right? Because they say the doctor says to do this. But for we women, it doesn't work for us because, as I mentioned before, our systems are so interconnected, not just physiologically interconnected, but emotionally and spiritually and biochemically and nutritionally. It's all interrelated. So what we need, and this is what I've discovered by trial and error in my own body, and then with the hundreds of women that I've been working with over the years, is it has to be a holistic approach. And these are the 5 foundations that it has to include. And so when I structured this Release, Revitalize, and Renew program, this is what I had in mind, that it needs to create a biochemical impact in the body. It needs to address our nutrient deficiencies or nutrient optimization so that we can function at our peak. We have to address ourselves at this energetic level. And as I mentioned, that the somatic piece is a key piece that can help you accelerate your results and kind of put them in the quantum field, as some would like to say. But it is getting those emotional pieces like back in balance the quickest. And then the spiritual piece, it has to be, putting us in alignment with what our soul knows is the right approach for us. And when we can balance this kind of 5 segments and create a foundation based on that, then yeah, we do get that lasting agelessness. We get the health, we get the vitality. Right? So most times we have to do that, and we say, okay, we're going to do that, and we go to 5 different like practitioners. Like we got our acupuncturist, we got our nutritionist, we got the doctor, we got the physical trainer, and then we're running from this person to that person, and we run into the same problem because none of them are speaking to each other. So if you can get it all in one, that's where you can get the most bang for your buck. So the last mistake that I'm going to talk about is kind of the big one. And that's where how many of us tend to prioritize others over ourselves? Yes. Our family, our community, our church, our work, our so much of this goes on. And yeah, there is a physiological cost. There's actual research that shows that for women over 50 who consistently prioritize self-care, that you can reduce your heart disease risk factors by 50%, right? 50%, right? 58% decline in inflammatory markers when you prioritize self-care. And they show that for women, you can have major impacts on your telomere length. So I talked about that from self-care, right? So it's not a luxury. And we tend to think it's a luxury. And we tend to think when I get the money, I will focus on me. When I get some time, I will focus on me. How many of us have said that? Yeah. Raising our hand, shaking our hand. Yeah. But there's never enough money and there's never enough time. It's never the right time. Right. So this is a big piece of what I'm building in as to how do we try to get more self-care built in when we do have busy lives, right? We can't go to retreats all the time. We can't just go to get massages, but there's lots of little things that we can do. So when we do all of this, then we get the benefits, and we know this. But again, we know this, but do we really know it in our actions? That the way to help all of those around us is when we can prioritize ourselves. And I'm really this is like a movement I'm creating now, because with all this stuff going on in our country, it's we women who really are going to have to step up to protect our families, right? To allow our families and our children and grandchildren to know that they can be who they were born to be, right? To be the light for change it's going to come from women. And so, my mission is to get us a foundation so that we do have the presence, we have the wherewithal, we have the energy, we have the brain clarity, we have the spiritual and emotional resilience to be able to step out and do what is ours to do, whatever that is. So we're going to learn one simple little thing that we can start doing. I mentioned that there's 3 energetic practices. And I skipped one. So we're gonna do two here. So the first one that we're gonna do is to release. So I've been talking a lot, so I'm gonna stop the share here. I'm gonna have everybody stand up. And we're going to shake. We're going to start with the arms. Put your arms above the head. Shake the fingers. Shake the hands. Shake the wrists. Shake the arms, the shoulders, the chest, the belly, the hips, the butt, the thighs, the knees, the lower legs, down into the feet, shaking the feet, shake it all out, shake it all out. And this is a Kundalini yoga move. And it said that 3 minutes of this will actually reset your nervous system. So we're not going to do 3 minutes. We're just going to do 30 seconds. And so just with that, come back down to your seat. And how did that feel?
Great.
Yeah, just releasing, huh? Just like getting the energy out. And since we're at the computers all day, we're on Zoom, and then we come on Zoom at night, even if it's good stuff, we're still on Zoom. That's one of the great things to do. And a lot of times I will just turn off my camera and just do that, just periodically, right?
Do you
And
get
then,
up? Do you move?
do
When
you
you
move?
the computer, do you like get up away from
Yes.
it about every hour?
I do. And Miss Barbara, that I am very impressed that you know that. That yes, that we should get up from our computer every hour. We should get up from our seats every
You
hour. You
know,
have to get that circulation going.
you know who told me that?
Who told you that?
My son.
Yes.
He'll call over here and say, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm up."
Very good. I'm glad he taught you that, and I'm glad he checks in on you for that. It's so crucial.
Yeah, because I'm the lone wolf of my family now.
Yeah, you are. You're the backbone of the family. We need you. So keeping your circulation going is critical. So add in this little shaking exercise. That will be really good for you. And even like sometimes you can do it even in bed, like in the morning, it's a good one to do to help wake yourself up instead of like running for the coffee. You could shake for a few minutes and it'll get you going. So there's another little practice, and I'll teach you that now. And we're gonna let me stop the share so you can see me and I can see you. So we're gonna take our two fingers, the first and second finger. I'm gonna start here in the forehead. And we're now gonna work on increasing the vagal tone, that vagal nerve that runs up and down from brain to gut. And we're gonna give ourselves a little face massage. So 2 fingers, and then we're going to trace over our eyebrow out to our temple and create 3 little circles at the temple. And then come back to the center of the eyebrows. And once again, trace out over the eyebrows, out to the side. And at the end, I'm going to give you a handout of these exercises. And then again, over the eyebrows, out to the temples. And just very lightly, it's not like you're trying to really massage the muscle, but we're working on the nerves, which are right under the skin. So you can be very light. And then come to the center, down the sides of the nose, under the eyes, create 3 little light circles. And then once again, come into the center of the eyebrows, or right between the eyebrows, down along the sides of the nose and underneath each of the eyes. And once again, and notice your breath. If you're holding your breath, breathe. You're just doing a natural breath. down underneath, and then come up to the temples from there, right up to the temples, and then go back to the center of the eye, down the nose, the sides of the nose, under the eyes, 3 circles, and then over to the temples, 3 circles. And once again, notice your breath, make sure you're breathing. Back to the center, down the sides of the nose, underneath the eyes, out to the sides of the temple. And then come over to each ear. If you have a headset on, be careful. And just kind of pinch, lightly massage all along the outer exterior of the eyes, down to the lobe from the top to the bottom. And let's do that 3 times from the top, pinching and massaging on the outer. And once more, noticing the breath, making sure you're breathing. And then put your finger on the inside of your ear. If you have a headset, you have to like take it out. And you're going to circle the inside of the ear. And then when you come to that little cartilage piece, you're going to just squeeze that gently, like 3 times. And then we'll repeat that 3 times. Down the inside of the ear to the little cartilage, squeezing it 3 times. And one more time, making sure you're breathing. And squeeze that one time. And then bring your hands down to your heart. And just notice how you're feeling. And then type in the chat, how are you feeling with this? Mhm.
Everybody's saying great and
Yeah.
relaxed, Zana. I was just thinking this would be beautiful to do to my kids to put them to bed at night.
It would be. It would be. They would love that. They're going to get addicted to it.
Oh, calm, peaceful, calm and relaxed. This is my favorite exercise by far. This is, I mean, I love the shaking,
Oh,
but this one is like,
yeah, it is. Yeah, I like this one too. In the night, in the middle of the night, if you wake up, that's a nice one to do. Even in the morning before you get out of bed. So beautiful, beautiful. So we have just a little bit more to go. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. But that exercise is something that one of my clients, she incorporated that. She did the Release, Revitalize, Renew program, and she incorporated doing the facial massage. And in 4 weeks, she actually got some lab tests done. And she was at risk for heart disease, and her markers had dropped by almost 40% in just 4 weeks. And her doctor was like quite impressed and wanted to know what she was doing as a result of that, right? And it's because of the stress. So she did the holistic approach. Part of it was the stress management, and we attacked stress management in several different ways. But she loved that facial massage. So now we're going to get to the last part, which is the protocol. So this is the protocol that I teach. You can do it on your own. There's some pieces that are going to be fleshed in. Or as mentioned, I'll give you an opportunity to talk to me and to learn more about it and to see if it's something that you want to do with a group. But it's basically working on these 4 pillars. So there's the hormonal piece where we're balancing the hormones and we're creating synchronicity among the hormones. And we're also looking at nutrition. And the nutrition that we do is not a diet. I never do diets, but I put together food protocols based on the results of my working with so many women as to what works in their body and what doesn't. And one thing that doesn't work is for people to be hungry. And another thing that doesn't work is for the food not to taste good. So those are two fundamental criteria that we work on. And then I put together nutritional plans that tend to work on the biochemical level, the physiological level, the hormonal level, and also the energetic level, because I'm a therapeutic herbalist. So I use food as medicine. The energetic alignment, we're incorporating that with different somatic practices that can help reset the nervous system pretty quickly, right? And they're practices that you can do anywhere, anytime, so you can fit it into our busy, demanding lives. Time is a commodity, but it's a valuable commodity. So I've designed this to work into our busy lives. And then the big piece is the feminine power integration and how we're working on our mindset and our identity, the sense of who we are, and how that can shift whether or not you're going to be amenable to doing the other practices or not, right? So when you don't feel worthy and you don't feel like you can accept yourself, it is hard to maintain a healthy, vital lifestyle. But when we can get to, what is it that has been blocking us all of these years and start to create a new, more empowering story. And first you have to see it. You have to see it in your life. So we're going to be looking at it, and then you're going to be watching your life for how it shows up, because often these things show up unconsciously. We don't even see them. It's just our way of being. It's like we think and we behave and we think that's who we are. It's just how we be, but it's not true. We can shift that. So we incorporate this mindset piece with the body piece, with the soul piece, and put it all together. That's where people start to get the results. And so I'll go quickly through this piece, but on the hormonal piece, this is what we're looking at. So we're looking at all of those hormonal systems. How do we bring those back into balance? How do we do that? By helping to release and quiet the stress hormones that are going on in your body and create just not just emotional resilience, but biochemical resilience, right? We look at the nutritional intelligence, like I said, and a lot of what we're looking at is balance in blood sugar, cholesterol, inflammation, blood pressure, thyroid functioning. Those are kind of the big systems that we're working to bring back into balance, and do it in a way where we feel full, satisfied, and we're enjoying the process. I actually have two different levels of protocol in the program. One is more comprehensive, where I provide you everything that you need, the meal plan and the shopping list, and I've structured it all out. All you need to do is follow it. Hardly anybody follows it 100%. I don't even follow it 100%, and I still get results, right? So, and then the other one is we have a simplified plan, where if you're not a cook, then that one can work for you, right? And the energetic part, this is what we're looking at there. And we also look at sleep as a part of the energetic. How do we optimize our sleep? And then I talked about what we do with the feminine power part and overcoming those hidden barriers, reconnecting us to these power centers that we have. Like, we don't know like that. We have 3 chakras in our body. The first one deals with survival and fear. A lot of us live in that area. And so if we don't feel worthy, or if we feel like we're all alone and we're disconnected from everything, then that's where we are, down in those lower chakras. So if we can do practices that help us shift that sense and that energy center relates to our digestion, right? It relates to that lower colon, or the second chakra that has to do with creativity and life energy. So Patty was a client. Yeah, a question there.
Sorry, Xonna. Yeah, Kara had a question really quick. She wanted your thoughts on EFT tapping.
Yeah, so EFT tapping is great. It's one of the energetic practices. We're going to be doing some EFT tapping. We will be doing, there's a number of different ones that I'm going to be teaching because it is about finding what works for you. But yeah, working with the body and tapping on these different meridians that we have and saying different affirmations is very effective. So that is one for sure. Thank you, Kara, for raising that. Um, and Patty is somebody that she's like quintessential, most of us, a caregiver and a big-hearted person and a professional. And as a result, in Patty's situation, she was actually caretaken for three. She had a mom who has Alzheimer's. She had a brother who was a diabetic amputee, and she had the brother's son who was a diabetic, autistic, like young man. Like he was 18 when I met him. Now I think he's about 23. Um, and Patty was the financial support for all of them, as well as the emotional support and the caretaker. And as a result of trying to balance that with her professional career as an editor, and she's given me permission to share all of this, everything had started to collapse in her body. She had gained over 100 extra pounds. When she came to me, she wanted to lose 100 pounds. And all her lab markers were elevated. And she just was depressed and she wasn't really able to function. But she did the Revitalize Renew program. She started in that. Whoop, somebody has something going on. Are you able to mute people, Sonia?
Hello?
Sonia, can you mute people?
No, it doesn't let me mute.
Okay, let me do something. Here, I'm making you co-host.
Sure.
And so now can you mute the group?
I can mute now.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
So Patty went through the program and then she worked with the continuity program after that. And she had a goal that by Christmas time, she wanted to have her weight down enough that she could do a photo shoot so she could apply for a new job to make more money to help support the family. And we got her there. She lost 100 pounds and she was a new person. She was not the same old Patty. She was happy. She felt the vitality. Her lab markers were coming down. We didn't get everything down to normal in that time frame, and she's been working on that since then. But she was a new person from this, and she got that job. She did her photo shoot. The little picture on the right is her in the photo shoot, and she got the new job. But the funny thing is, she got the new job, but then she was on that stress to success cycle again. And at some point, she realized that that job wasn't it. She ended up in the hospital with an ulcer. And now she is rebuilding her career. And she's a coach now, and she's happy, and she's doing some spiritual work that she was and she fell in love. She sent me something. She fell in love. So she changed not just her being, but she changed her life, right? But it started with her body. So this is the blueprint. This is the blueprint for ageless living. It is that vitality reset protocol that I just went through the elements with you. And what's possible for you? You could be like Patty, right? You could be like Susan here, where she didn't realize how much that it changed not just her health, but how she saw herself and what she believed was possible. Or Elizabeth, who got her blood work to be better than it was 15 years ago, and she's been able to maintain her weight off. So the results depend on the person, but so much is possible. And so, can you see yourself like waking up refreshed and energized and having this stable energy and feeling comfortable and confident in your body? And we all have stress in our lives, it's not going anywhere, especially these days. But if we can manage it with grace and ease, and we have some tools that we can do that don't take a lot of time, and we feel like we're connected to our femininity again. And I say the feminine power because one of the things that happens that I hear from women over 50 is we don't feel beautiful. We don't feel sexy. We feel like we're losing our femininity. Yeah, some of the people are nodding your head. And so connecting with our feminine power allows us to step more gracefully into that as well, right? So we're creating the next chapter of our life from a firm foundation of vibrant health. So as I mentioned, you can do it on your own, or ask yourself, would you like my help to implement this and get results fast in just 12 weeks, right? So asking yourself that, and I'm going to go just quickly through this part because I want to share with you this bonus that's worth over $1,000 and give you your last holistic exercise that you can take home with you. And we have the PDF for you as well. So this is a system. It's a holistic system, and it's focused around these 4 parts: healing the body, listening to the soul, leading from within, and harmonizing the mind. The feminine power pathway is what I call it, to health, happiness, and making your true impact, taking us back to that vision that I had, right? So the key is, if you look at it like a pyramid, you have to heal the body first. You have to get all the noise out the body. Then you can harmonize your mind. You can hear your soul. It's hard to hear your soul when we have so much noise from everything else going on. And then we can lead from our inner wisdom and our inner knowing in that intuitive sense. But it starts at the foundation. And so that's what this program is. It is to build your foundation. It is a jump start so that you get some quick results fast, and you set a foundation for this being lasting health and vitality. And so we're going to focus on going from the stress eating to feeling revitalized and renewed in just 12 weeks. Why 12 weeks? Because 12 weeks is the life of a red blood cell, and you can measure your progress. You can go to the doctor and all your markers can shift in 12 weeks, right? So we're working with that. And there's 4 kind of objectives there. And the mindset piece is the newest piece that I've built in, where we're going to help you stop sabotaging yourself by helping you identify and overcome some core limited belief. Maybe it's the worthiness, right? Maybe it's the self-acceptance. Maybe it's not feeling enough. Right? So whatever it is, maybe it's I'm alone. And we do focus on the stress. That's a big part of it. We want to re-regulate that nervous system. They've actually shown some studies. So I was at the conference this weekend and with Joe Dispenza, and he's done a lot of research on this whole mind-body connection. And their research has shown that you can grow, like you could have colon cancer and have had inches of your colon removed. And if you learn to reset your nervous system, which has this watered down effect to everything else, you can actually regrow parts of your colon, right? So amazing research is coming out about how we can shift all these things that we think are just aging. We can shift those things. Doesn't mean you're going to look like you looked when you were 30 and 25. No, it doesn't mean that. But it means that you could be 94 like Miss Barbara, and you can tell that she's been living her life based on many of these principles. That you can have your health and vitality. You can be like my mom out there painting at 92. Right? So we're going to work on the stress. We're going to work on freeing the body of the things that are going on health-wise. And the most important part is you could stop guessing at what might work for you. And we have tools, system that you can use to pinpoint what's right for you, what foods are right for you, what movement is right for you, what sleep is right for you. We'll be able to measure, is it causing inflammation in the body or does it not cause inflammation of the body? So the 4 objectives get addressed in this triple focus of stress, the mindset, and creating the ageless health and vitality. And that's what sets the foundation for sustainable, irreversible results, right? So if you could shift your mindset and you're working on your body and you're knowing how to manage the stress, you will have irreversible results, right? And that's what I've been doing in my own body. So this is generally kind of what it looks like. We ease in for the first 3 weeks. We build vision into this. We build the health assessment into it. We build feng shui into it, getting the energetics of the home right. We start off slow with the easy protocol. Everybody can fit it into their busy schedules. 4 to 6, on weeks 4 to 6, we'll focus on releasing. So this is where we start to build in some of the mindset work. And for the body, we're starting to do a gentle, natural detox. The physiological focus for these weeks is on reducing inflammation, right? So almost all of us have inflammation because we're all on this stress cycle. And that's the main thing that happens. And then you start to learn those techniques so you can determine what's right for you, which foods are right for you, which supplements are right for you, which movement is right for you, determining right amount of sleep, and you can start to put together that blueprint of what's right for you, right? And then in week 7 and 9, when we're revitalizing, we're doing more mindset coaching. So now we've identified hidden barriers. We've seen how they show up in our life. And now we're starting to break through those. So we're going to learn some techniques to do that. We're doing more nervous system support. And then we start to really focus on blood sugar, on cholesterol, on hormonal balancing, on fiber, in addition to the inflammation. And we also are focused on how do we make this a way of life, even if we're traveling, even if we have holidays, or if we just fall off track and we want to get back on track. So I make it practical, give some practical tips for that. And then we do the last stage, the renew stage. And again, we're learning some additional stress relief techniques, and we do some advanced kind of dietary protocols to accelerate the process. And we talk about how do we transition, how do we create a growth pathway, because we can't just be the same as we've been to reach the new level of health and vitality, right? We need new skills, new habits, new behaviors, new mindset. So we call that a growth pathway. So that's what you get. We get all of that. We get herbal supplement support. I'll be recommending that. The meal plans, we get 2 different levels of protocols that can fit into your lifestyle. I'll teach you the tools. You get the latest information, so education to address the inflammation, the blood sugar, cholesterol, hormones, thyroid. You're led by me. And last year when I did it, it was mostly being done as the dietitian. Like in the past year, I've built the foundation as the women-centered coach and with somatics training as well. So that's why this year we're building in those 2 pieces into the program. And most importantly, you get a wonderful community, right? Like-minded sisters all going through the same thing, all reaching for similar goals of optimizing health and vitality, not just for health's sake, but so that we can do the things that we dreamed of doing. We can be the person that we were born to be. We can up-level our life. We can have positive lives, right? So with this, then I'll tell you the price of this, but with this, you get a free bonus. So you get a free one-to-one with me where what we're going to do is kind of just focus on you, and we're going to do an assessment for you. What's going on with your health and vitality? Which are the areas that you need to work on? What are the best options for you? This program may be the best option. It may not be the best option for you. If I'm not the best option, I will recommend something for you. So the value of just getting this one-on-one is $390 session, $397. And then you also get a 3-day vitality reset. So these are recipes. These are recipes that I put together based on what clients tell me are their favorite recipes. And then I put them together in a way that you can add them into your day. And you kind of get a boost. Like you have one of the smoothies and you will feel an energetic boost just from that one smoothie. So that plus if you sign up today for your one-to-one, and it is limited because I'm only taking 10 people into this program, and I only have 3 spots left in the program. That if you sign up for your one-to-one today, that does not mean you have to commit to the program at all. But if you sign up for your one-to-one today, then you will actually get an additional $500 off the cost of the program. The cost of the program is $2,500. You will get it for $19.99. And that plus the free session plus the Vitality Reset gets you over $1,000 for savings just by taking advantage of an opportunity to look at what's happening with you and get some kind of a plan that's going to help you go forward. So what happens when you do all of this is that you will start to feel like for one of the first times in your life, you have started to really prioritize you and make an investment in your well-being, right? And you can do this program for as low as about $150 a month. I have various payment plans. I did not want money to be an option for anybody. So you can do it on a payment plan basis. You can fit it into your schedule because everything gets recorded. We have live sessions on Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock. If you cannot make live sessions, you can get the recordings. We have a buddy system, so you'll have somebody that's there to help you with accountability. So I'm going to kind of stop there. It's time to rewrite your story. Sonia's going to put the link for the one-on-ones in. If you think you might be interested in the program, you want to get more information about the program, you want to be able to look at the website for the program, just sign up for the one-on-one. We will talk. You will get your gifts. You can make a decision then. It's 100% your choice. I'm just being the vehicle. But ask yourself, what would it be worth to you to really wake up this way, right? All the things that you guys have talked about, the energy, having more vitality, having more positivity, having more self-acceptance, feeling worthy, putting yourself in your circle of care, feel like you're actually living, right? Feeling ageless. So I'm going to open it up for questions, and I want to teach you this last little exercise. So, questions? Comments?
Xonna,
Kara?
boy, has this class changed. I really love this.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Mhm. It'll get you what you're looking for sure. Mhm.
I just want to say thank you so much, Xonna. This was extremely informative and helpful and gave me more information as I've been on this journey for a little minute. And so it's
Yeah.
gave me more information, and I'm very appreciative of that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm so glad. And I'm so glad that you did this for yourself and just signed up for this and got the little information and integrated into your life and reach out to me. You get the free one-to-one session. So, you can sign up for that if you want to get some more information and see what, kind of what direction I would say, focus on this or focus on that. Okay. That's a
Yeah,
gift
I
to
will.
people who took the time
I'm
for
definitely
this.
gonna reach out and sign up for the one-on-one.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Thank you, Miss Sandra, and stay tuned for learning this last little practice because this is one of my favorite ones. And anything else? Any other questions? Okay, so let me answer this for people. So, Satanama. So this is one that I do a lot. So this is a Kundalini yoga practice. And Kundalini yoga was brought to this country in the 60s to help Americans deal with all the trauma of the 60s. So I have a feeling that in this epic, we're gonna need the Kundalini yoga techniques even more. So Satanama represents the cycle of life. And so each syllable represents a different step in the cycle of life. So the cycle of life is there's birth, then there's existence, then there's like death or transformation, and then there's rebirth, right? So everything in life goes through this. So it is synonymous with this too shall pass. And so it's a really good practice to just remind ourselves that whatever it is that we're going through at that moment, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. And it uses the hand and hand mudras. I'm going to stop the share. It uses the hand and hand mudras because the hand mudras, you have little like nerves on the fingertips, and they actually correspond with the nervous system, like your central nervous system of your spine and then up in the brain. So they create an actual shift in your thinking and in your emotions. And so a lot of ancient practices, they use mudras. So this one is just you touch your thumb to a different finger with each syllable. So sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma. So we're gonna do just like 30 seconds of it. Okay. So take a deep breath in and then exhale. Satanama, 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 Satanama. Take it quietly inside yourself and repeat. And then take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Bring your hands together in prayer position. Bring your thumbs to your heart center. Tell yourself, thank you. I love you. I commit to you. I will take care of you. I bless you. I honor you. Thank you. And then take you. I bless you. I honor you. And with that, I say thank you to all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the great work that you've done for yourself and for each other, because you've all now touched each other in a different way just by the energy of being here and being present. And I will look forward to talking to some of you. The early bird special is going to expire on Saturday, so please do try to make sure you set up your one-to-one like for tomorrow or for Friday. I've kind of opened up my schedule for this. And just remember, it's not a commitment to anything. It's just an opportunity to look at what's going on with yourself. Okay.